Hello, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this style of deadfall trap. It's a style of deadfall trap that's used by the Indigenous Taiwanese, mainly the central mountain range tribes like the Atayal, Bunun, Seediq, and Truku. And so this trap is called a Dangan in Seediq. So let me just show you how it works. So this stick right here, this long one reaching under the rock is the trigger stick. It holds this stick right here up, and this stick is tied off to the stick over here that's supporting the rock. Sort of the same system as a Paiute deadfall, with a couple more parts, but you get about the same sensitivity without all of the finger smashing and stuff. So you can set it off here. So rack comes up, touches the stick, and then down comes the rock. So I'm going to be showing you how to make this trap with nothing but a knife. Okay, so we're going to need a couple of sticks. So first one here, you could grab just any kind of stick like this that has a nice straight section to it. It doesn't have to be completely straight, but we just need a small stick like this. Or break that off. This should work. And this will act essentially as a stopper for the deadfall. So let's get everything else. Also gonna need a stick for a stopper, so you can just take really any stick. This tree is dead. It's a bit hard to do this with one hand. You could just take a stick like that or anything. Okay, so let's cut this stick here down. I'll show you really what length it has to be afterwards. I'm doing this all with one hand, so that's pretty much all I can do with one hand. I'm just gonna remove the little branches coming off of it, and then it should be good. Okay, so for the trigger stick, I just got this old piece of bamboo that I never got around to making an arrow with, mostly because it's way too short. So we just gotta cut it down to size. I'll show you pretty much all the sizes you need later, so I'm just gonna cut it down now. I also have this Y stick that I've used before. I just didn't want to go out and grab another Y stick, but essentially all you'll need is a Y stick, and you gotta put a spike on the end of it, and that's where it's gonna go into the ground. So this is the last component we need. I just got this old piece of vine maple, and this is going to be what's going to hold up the rock. Okay, so this is all the parts we need here. We got our rock here on the bottom, we got a piece of string, we got a big stick for holding up the rock, the stick from keeping the trigger from flying away. This is the stick that holds the trigger. Here's the trigger stick, and then we need a Y stick. Then that's all the parts we need. So let's go set it up. Okay, so first thing we need to do here to set it up, we gotta pound this Y stick into the ground here. I like to do it at a bit of an angle. It doesn't really matter too much, but a bit of an angle helps a lot of the time. So that's it. That's firmly in the ground. Gotta see how all this fits together. So this stick right here is what's going to be keeping the rock up. So let's lift this up. It's going to be probably around here or so. So what we need to do first with this stick, so I left these two branches sticking out a bit just because they were in a convenient place to put the string, but you don't need one like that. You could just tie the string on. So what we're going to do to tie the string onto the branch, just gonna do a clove hitch and then wrap it around a couple times to tie it off. So generally you want to be about this far or a bit more from the end, or I mean a bit closer to the end. And I'm gonna do it on this side. just gonna wrap it around a couple times. I'm gonna tie it off here with overhand knots. Now, what I'm not going to do is snip off this loose end here once I'm done tying, because I'm going to need that for later. So now what we got to take a look at is this stick right here. So this stick is going to be coming right here to hold everything up. So if you want, you can carve a little bit of a notch into it if it doesn't hold too well. But let's see how well it holds first. Let's put the knife away. Okay. So rock goes here. What this string is going to do, it's going to form a loop around our trigger stick here. For now, I'm just seeing how much string I'll need. Probably gonna just need. I'm gonna let this rock go. So this is where the loose end comes in. What I'm going to do here is put this part underneath and then tie it off to that loose end. Knot or two. And for now, let's not cut off those loose ends just in case we gotta adjust it. So now what we have is a stick that comes over here. Let's get this rock up. And this stick is going to stick into here. This is what's going to keep our trap up, this stick right here. And so what we need to put in next is our little trigger stick, the little piece of bamboo. So preferably this will reach right into, right in under the rock. This should be, yeah, this should be a good length. So we may want to move this stick down a little bit. Just make sure you keep an eye on the top of the rock, make sure it doesn't slip. And then this stick right here, if you can see, we put a little bit of a point in it, and that's so you could stick it into the ground, so it's nice and secure. And it goes right there. Then you got your trap. To adjust the sensitivity, you just need to move this stick down from the stick that's holding everything together. So we put it right there. How about? So then, let's see. Let's grab this stick right here. So if you can see right here, we got everything well done. And When a rat comes along and touches this, everything falls down. That's it. I'll show you from another angle. Okay, showing it to you from another angle. So here's the whole thing. So this is the stick that holds up the rock here. And what's keeping it from flying away this way from the rock is this string that's looped around coming down here to this stick. And then this stick is balanced on the Y stick. That's essentially just the main support. And then there's this stick down here, which is the trigger stick, that goes in underneath the rock. That's keeping from this stick from flying away and having this top stick flying away too. And then having the rock smash down. And the trigger stick is supported by this stick. So essentially what this gives you is something that's... Ooh, the frame rate dropped a whole bunch. Essentially what this gives you is something that can be just as sensitive as a Paiute deadfall, but without all the finger smashing fun of setting it up. Okay, let's watch setting this up again from a different angle. Okay, so lift up the rock here, grab this stick, it goes right here. This little stick will keep this stick up. It's in the same way that Paiute deadfall works. We gotta move this back a little bit because it's not tight enough. Okay. Stick will be down here. Grab our trigger stick. Then here's the stick that supports our trigger stick. Shove it into the ground, make sure it's leaning up against here. We want to move it back a little, towards the center of the rock. And there we go. We can adjust the sensitivity by moving this around. But otherwise everything's good. And then that's how you set it up. Okay, so here we have the completed trap. The lengths you need here are the string has to be long enough. This loop of string has to be long enough to have this stick reach down here. You see the string is sort of wrapped around the stick right there. The trigger is preferably long enough to reach way into under the rock. And then this stick right here that's supporting the trigger stick has to be long enough to reach from the ground to your Y stick. And then the Y stick can be variable pretty much however you want, as long as you're able to make a setup like this. But it's generally dependent on the size of your rock. You want it a bit longer. Plus, you can always shave it down if you have it longer, and if you have it shorter, you can't always build it back up. So, what do we do in terms of baiting? So, if you want to be really traditional, you can split the end of the bamboo down the middle, and then put a piece of millet through it, like I did here. You can see it's split, and then I just shoved a piece of millet in there. Another thing that they do over in Taiwan is they make taro paste and then smear it all over it. So then the rats go over after it. But of course you could just use peanut butter in place of it, or anything else you could smear onto it or stick into the groove. Okay, so let's take a look at this again. So we got the millet in there. Once this trigger stick gets pushed down, this stick will fling out, releasing this stick, and then the rock will fall. So say this stick here is a rat, sees that millet. Ooh, there's some millet. I'm gonna eat it. Touches it too much, and then the rock falls. And you got your rat. It's a pretty heavy rock. Okay, so that's just about all. Thank you for watching the video. I'm going to be making lots more Indigenous Taiwanese trapping videos and how to make them in the future. So stick around for those. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and bye.